Hey guys, it's Matt here from Armstrong Gaming, back again. We're having a look at Skyrim this time. So, I've made a character called Darius, and this guy basically is an Argonian, and this is one of the mods I've got on my computer, which allows me to do a different start. So, I've started with Dawnguard, and I've done that for one reason only. Get myself a crossbow. Pretty much the only reason I even did that. Cool, so you can just see me here running around. I'm just getting away from basically where the Dawnguard actually is and where they're held out. And we're going to go into this and sort of do this. So the idea behind this character is I'm going to have him a bit of a jack of all trades. I've played Skyrim a fair bit. I've played it on my Xbox, and I've played it on my PC. PC, obviously, I've got a modded version. I haven't tried to add in nothing that will take away from gameplay, and add only things that are going to either improve gameplay or is going to open up more things to do, i.e. mods that give me more quests, or mods that have improved visual aspects of it and so forth. Now I've tried to record this in as high definition as I'm able, and watching this on 1080p would be pretty good. But I'm going to try and continue to update that and do more videos with better visual. Alright, cool. So eventually get out of the starting zone here from where they are and get out. Alright, so I'm not going to try and do too much of, sort of sneaking around and doing shit. I like to get up in front of combat and so forth, and as you can see here, I'm using one of my tactics. Not exactly, lo and behold, easiest thing to think of. It's pretty obvious. Heal and do damage at the same time. Do that by using flames and using the healing spell that you get straight off the bat. Burn through a mana here against this novice necromancer. Playing on I think it's adept level difficulty, so it's a bit mid-range difficulty. So I shouldn't die too often, but I should die just enough so that way it's fun for you guys. Alright, cool. So you'll notice this is a pretty long video. It's about 26 minutes in total. It was originally up around the 45-minute mark. I've cut a lot of stuff, and I'll try not to cut too much, but when I'm just dicking around and not doing a lot of anything, looking at my inventory and so forth, I cut it. You can see there it's a little jumpy. That's just because of the editing process. So I spot some wolves attacking a guy. It looks like it's Majik the Liar. He's been through since Morrowind, I believe. I remember seeing him in Oblivion. He was a pretty cool character. And there's our first kill. Getting some archery up. Archery is kind of important. And at this stage, the crossbow with the crossbow bolt is doing something like 40, 50 damage. It's pretty nuts at this point. This is definitely why I did what I did during the Dawnguard. So there is downsides to this, doing this mod. The start of the game obviously isn't exactly as you would expect. You don't go through that little cutscene at the start. For those who haven't played, I'm not going to spoil too much. But basically, the things that happen at the start of the game that you would expect don't actually happen exactly that way. You're not there to witness them, and you need to go over to the town Helgen to basically get the tiny little last bit of the tutorial shown again. And I'm assuming that those who have played it didn't want to see the tutorial again. It's kind of boring. I've played through it enough times that I don't really want to play it again. Alright, so at this point in the game, I highly advise when you do get to loot stuff, loot as much as you can. Loot until you can't carry anymore. You're not always going to have the same sort of start that I've had, where you go combat, find a hideout, jump in that hideout, get to loot a whole bunch of stuff like I'm about to, and get a whole bunch of magical items to start the game. I pick up, I think it's an axe of souls, so basically soul trap, plugged into it. And you'll see there I picked up some salt piles. I like salt piles. Then plus death bells gives you some really good slow stuff for alchemy, and I do that a bit later on. Alright, so here I'm using my bit of my stealth tactics. I generally try to stay stealthy. It can get a little boring, and it's why I keep my archery up, and also why I've got the crossbow. At this point, I haven't seen the guys who are here and who are about to spot me, so I'm going to continue doing my normal, let's get some, alchemy materials. Alchemy is a really good way to level up, especially early game, because you level up based on how much, in terms of monetary value, the potions are worth. So if you make a really good potion that's worth 200-300 gold comparatively to one that's worth 5 gold, nice little shot there. And as you can see, the other person's waking up. I spot it because of the cutscene, and yeah, get the kill. So yeah, alchemy, really good leveling up. I generally buy myself some death bells and salt piles to make slows. There are other things, other ones I look out for later on, which are the blue mountain flowers plus wheat, which does a fortify plus restore your health. Really good. Those can get up to the 200-300 gold mark, but you don't really want to sell them early game, because those are things that can not only heal you but give you that bonus bit of health to survive. And the other one, of course, is for the magicka, which is briar hearts and red mountain flowers, and they're pretty much the most common ones that you'll just generally find. Here's an unlucky shot. The other problem with the crossbow is I haven't got a lot of bolts. It does a lot of damage, but don't have a lot of bolts, so I'm pretty heavily reliant upon it. And I think it coming up, I switch over to a hunter's bow that I've picked up. So as you can see here, picking up some pretty good heavy armor. Later on I end up equipping that, which turns out to be a really good thing. Take myself a one-handed thing and go to open chest. I always try and zoom in. That's what helped me notice that triggering trap, and I've cut out the lock picking stuff just because it cuts down on time. When you can do like 5 or 6 lock picks, and they're all taking 20-30 seconds. You're talking about a couple of minutes worth of loading time that you guys don't want to see, and it's gonna get just in your way. And I'm trying to get through as much of this game in as short as a period of time, because there are people who have played over a couple hundred hours, got up to something like, I think the highest I've seen is level 192, with something like 160 hours of gameplay. It's pretty ridiculous. There is the ability that when you hit 100, to take them to a legendary status, which brings it down to a 15 skill points again, gets all your perks back and so forth, and basically you can re-level it up, whatever it is, and basically do that. So I've noticed that there's a little small spot just lower down here. Just trying to work out where exactly it is, and eventually I find this little pull chain, which is kind of cool. This basically, here it is, the pull chain opens up a little hidden spot, and I've never actually been in this little chasm cave bit before, so I wander in through here. I'm still being really stealthy, and thankfully there's no one here to kill. In fact, there's already someone here killed. So look around. Now you can tell that bow is magical. It's got arcing, which does lightning damage, so you pick it up and just take it. And as I said before, just at this point in the game, pick everything up until you've got, until you're overburdened and can no longer run. So this actually starts up a quest. It's not one of the quests I'm going to be focusing on in the next game. In the next episode, there's a quest that we'll pick up later at the Phial at Windhelm, and I will pick that up. And basically, I'm going to avoid the main storyline for as long as possible. The main reason of this at Whiterun, I believe it is, which is the normal first town that you get to go to. Unfortunately, with one of the expansions, there's a whole bunch of dragons circling around. And when I do go out that way, I'll show you what I mean. Hopefully they're there, because it's kind of cool. There's a lot of dragons to kill in a very short space of time. That'll look really cool, and I'll do a video just on that dragon killing. for the moment I've steered clear of it, and I'm just going to basically explore the world. I'm going to pick a couple quests I'm going to do every video and do those quests. I'm going to try and keep as much of the exploration in the game as possible, because the game is a sandbox game where you can just wander around and do absolutely anything, and I'm going to try and keep that aspect of the game in these videos, because the world is so huge, and even playing this like the 7th, 8th, 20th time, I still spot new things, and this game excites me for that reason. And it's one of the reasons why I've got the add-on that starts in a different spot every time, because you can just do whatever you like. So we've picked up the Stormcloak Rebellion, and I'm actually not going to pick which side I'm going to find again, so I'm going to leave that for a little bit. Managed to pick up Hero Nern Root, which is kind of cool. Allowed me to do an invisibility potion later on. I'm not going to pick my sides for the Stormcloak or the Imperials. I'm going to leave that up to you guys. I'm not going to answer that yet. I'll probably do that in about probably about the 10th. Do it around about the 10th video, the 10th episode of this. We'll see how we go for timing, but I'll announce it and so forth. So obviously there's little cuts between some of the videos. That's just poor editing on my behalf, and also trying to get the game to move as quickly as possible. Alright, so as you can tell, I've switched over to proper archery, and when you sort of commit to archery early game, because it is so easy to kill things at this point in the game, you literally just go, well, he's going to hit me, that's not a problem. I'll take a little bit of health damage, heal, using my heal spell, which will get my restoration up, which is really wonderful this early game, and basically just go from there. Like, what's a little bit of damage? You see, I haven't even properly healed it. I'm just letting myself regenerate it over time. It's nothing. It's almost no damage. So, as you can see, just cut through the lockpicking again. It's not too much of a problem. I've got bugger all lock pits at this point. I think I've got about 4 or 5 max. I think I end up with like 2 at one point or another. So throughout this video, I'm pretty much just trying to get myself to Riften. Riften's the closest town to where the Dawnguard is. And at the moment I'm just trying to spot a few things that I want to go to. So I've noticed this little hut, or what ends up being a small little estate. I haven't visited here before, and I figure it's a good place on the map to have in case I want to pillage it later on, you know, go into town, empty out my bags, and then come back and just rob the place. And then I noticed it's the Blackbriar Meadery. Blackbriars are kind of huge. You know, if you know the game, you'll understand who they are. When we get into Riften, I'll talk to a guy called Maul, and he'll explain it a bit better, and I'll let him do the explanation. Just had a look up there onto the mountaintop, and there's another thing up there which pops up as a little castle-y type thing on my little mini-map. I ignore it when I see these guys coming up, and they've drawn their weapons, but they go here and they pull and draw. Now it's a archery shootout, and it's against a Blackbriar mercenary. There's 2 of them in fact. One comes out of nowhere. I didn't even see him before. But, as I said before, commit to the archery. Early game, things are pretty easily killed, so do it. The wonderful thing about these guys, I didn't expect this. They've got some really good heavy armor. Now, I've just cut out the little section here coming up where I actually go through a lot of my inventory and drop a lot of it. Basically, I go down and I try and run off a mathematical equivalent for when it comes to what I want to use and what I want to keep and everything like that. So you look at the weight first of all. Usually go at around about, if it's 10 times the value compared to its weight. So if it weighs 2, it needs to be worth 200. Sorry, 20. That's the sort of way you want to do it. And if it weighs 5, it needs to be worth 50. If it weighs 10, it needs to be worth 100. A little bit of bad maths there, but you know, we'll get past it. So that's the idea of this sort of game. And as you go up in the game and things get harder and worth more, you can expand it out to 1 to 15 or 1 to 20, whatever you like. I sit around 1 to 10 because it can be some simple maths, even though I can suck at doing maths. And yeah, it's really easy to spot and it's really easy to think it through. But I don't stick to this in a hard line, especially early game, because money's going to be so difficult to come by. One of the reasons I like alchemy, I keep coming back to alchemy, and I will keep coming back to alchemy. I'll even do an alchemy episode where I go through my favorite potions to make, based financially on how to get as much money out of your shopkeepers as possible. So here we are, we'll come up the back end of Riften, and I come to this little spot thinking there might be a little bit of a Thieves Guild entrance. Riften is home to the Thieves Guild. It also has one of the first quests for the Assassins Guild, which is called the Dark Brotherhood. We'll come up to that later in Windhelm as well. That'll actually pretty much end the episode at around about the 25-minute mark. So anyway, I put my weapon away because, you know, guards are guards, and occasionally if you come at them with your weapon drawn, they will attack you on sight. I get told to use the Northgate in these circumstances, and basically I know the reason why because of gameplay. What's going on here. As I said, Thieves Guild. Anyway, I turn around and these guys have drawn their weapons. What's going on? The music's playing, so I know something's wrong. And there is somebody here in elven, elven armor just attacking. I decide, not worth the risk of accidentally hitting a guard, I won't pull it up. Turns out he's a Thalmor soldier. I loot his body. What the hell? Free loot. And take a look at the person who was harming. Looks like a bit of a beggar. Check that there's nobody else around and decide whether or not I want to go to Riften or if I want to go to one of the places. Now, playing an Argonian, so I can breathe underwater. So we're going to do a little jump through the water and we're going to have a bit of a swim. Basically, I'm just manipulating the camera. There we go. And you can see under the water. It's pretty good, and we're going to do some exploration of water stuff later on, because I've never actually sat down and done any exploration under the water before, because I don't usually play an Argonian. For Skyrim, I try to stick to either a Nord or a Dark Elf, for the simple fact of they have 50% resistance to frost and fire respectively. Here we go, the black biometer is there. That's another little bit of continuation from earlier. And the reason for that is dragons in this game, which are the main enemy that you'll fight throughout the game when you go through the storyline. They will do either fire or frost. And having a 50% reduction to their damage is just wonderful, even if it applies theoretically only 50% of the time in the dragons. Alright. Now this guy is good. We'll use him a bit later on, and he will take us to Winterholm. Alright, so Riften Guard here, obviously, there's attacks are entering the town. That's sort of weird. You use the persuade option, get your speech up to 16. Really, really good. Always works. Start of the game, fantastic. Get your speech up. Thieves Guild is basically doing a shakedown. Alright, so here's more. Just here. You can talk to him, and he's got a speech option as well for persuade to get your speech up again. And I'm sort of deciding how I want to go about this, so I learned a bit about the Blackbriars. You can read the subtitles as you like. Basically, the Blackbriars have ties with the Thieves Guild and the Assassins Guild, and pretty much they just do whatever they like. They've got all the money in Riften. So stay away from the persuasion, and I'm going to spend the gold because I can't remember if the persuasion one works. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. And the intimidate one doesn't work either if memory serves, but it's been a while since you've used them all. I just give them the gold. 67 gold at this point. That's one potion. I can spend a little bit of money, make the potion, and make that back. Doesn't bother me. Anyway, this gives me the option about joining the Thieves Guild. I'm not going to do the Thieves Guild today. It also gives me the Assassins one, so the Avento boy. Cool. I also overhear this conversation that's going on just on this bridge here between these two who are standing here. Basically, this girl has ripped him off and has blatantly said so. So we're going to progress that through. It's going to give us another speech bonus. We're going to follow it through. It's a really easy quest to do. Literally takes 4 minutes, maybe 5 tops, depending on how your loading times are and so forth. Really easy. Highly recommend doing this at this point. assuming you end up like me in Riften early in the game. And that shouldn't be too difficult to do. If you get to Whiterun, you can just take the carriage that I showed you at the front. They're at the front of nearly every city, and you can just go between the cities really quickly for a little bit of gold. And I'll use that later on just after I do this. So I take on this quest, I say, look, I'll help you work your debt out, and I'll go and speak to Sapphire. She's just in here, just there, and you heard a little bit of the audio cut out, and that was because of editing, because I turned quest markers on and off, and I don't think you guys want to watch that. Anyway, so I had a little issue there with the video. Oh, how about that? Anyway, alright, so persuade, you'll know never finish the thing. Speech increase to 17. That's 2.3 points. You'll notice that my level marker, my level progressive marker, is full. A while back, when I was back in the Dubihiki, in the cave, I leveled up. I haven't used that yet. When you level up all the stored levels at once. It also gives you back to full health and full mana. I'm saving it for a tricky situation at this point. And also, early on in the game, you don't want to start leveling up everything that you meet. So I've obviously just edited out most of the travelling time and everything like that, and the running up into Windhelm. So we're going into here, and unfortunately it's really early in the morning, so do my weight, and again edit out the weight as much as possible while you're still leaving enough of it in, and you go into here, the white Phial. This is where we're going to pick up our first major quest that I'm going to do. It shouldn't take too long. I haven't done it before, so it's going to be a bit of fun, so you're going to get some oh my god what the hell is going on commentary from me. And basically you can read the subtitles down below, and I'm always going to leave the subtitles on so you guys can read what's actually happening while I talk over the top of everything, because sometimes you're going to want to know what's going on and I'm just not going to tell you. Anyway, this guy basically goes on and on about this Phial, and this Phial has unique properties where it just replicates whatever you put into it. Basically, it's the lazy alchemist's dream. I got this really cool potion, I pour a little bit in, and it fills the rest back up. And this Dark Elf wants it. So, he can't go get it because he's old and lazy. I'm going to go get it for him. I have no issue going and getting it for him. He's going to get some gold, probably going to get some magical items while we're there, and we're really going to try and hunker down early on by getting some stuff. This Phial's also out of the city a short little way, and it's also a small tavern on the way called the Nightgale Inn. In there is a guy who's got an Akavari katana. That's one of the things I always go for in this game. Get my hands on that real early. It's a really cool weapon. It's a katana. It's like one of two that you can get in the game. Sorry, three. You get it already enchanted one, you get two unenchanted ones. For people like to dual wield, they're really quick. They do a lot of damage. They're really good. Alright, so you just see me buying specific items here out of his ingredients. As you can see, I've only got 425 gold at this point. He's got 491. I'm going to try and earn as much of that as possible. I'm looking for Blue Mountain Flower. Find it. Wheat. Don't find it. Briarheart. Don't find that. He's got Red Mountain Flower. I decided not to buy it. But I picked up the Salt Pile and Death Bell. I've got to go through my lists and find out the other ones that I want to use. And I select the Death Bell and my Salt Piles. And you can see, makes slow. It's worth 176. A little bit under what I was hoping. But as my potions get better and I put perks into it, that will become more and more. So I go in here, I sell those potions. I'm not going to use the slow potions. It's not how I roll. But it makes me some gold. And then I'm going to go outside and I'm going to sell off a lot of the items that I bought. I figured you didn't want to watch that, so I've skipped it and I've gone straight to the part where I do some disenchanting. Disenchanting is really good. You can see it's leveling up my enchanting skill. It's not super fast at this level, but sometimes you get a good magical item and you level up like then 2 or 3 at a time. Really good for those early levels. Enchanting, alchemy, and so forth. Smithing as well, but smithing can get quite expensive. I'll try and do a episode based on this. So this is the introduction to the Dark Brotherhood. This is going to be one of those things that I'm going to do. I'm going to do Dark Brotherhood first. Then I'm going to do the Thieves Guild. Then I'm going to do the Companions. Then I'm going to go to the Dawnguard. And I'm going to finish up with the college of mages. Do that one last, I think. Or maybe I won't do Dawnguard last. Let's see what you guys want. We'll sort of just play it by ear. I'll do some small ones around here. I'm going to try and get to about level 15 before I start going pretty hard at some of these, because some of them have got leveled magical items. If you don't know what a leveled magical item is, they have a level. Whatever level you are dictates how powerful they are. Some of them have a cap where, say at level 15, it's not going to get any better, because that's just the range that the game has put into it, and so you want to pick it up at level 15. Pick it up at level 14, it won't be as important. So it gives us our first mission. He tells us basically he was at an orphanage, yada yada yada, and we got to kill her because she made him miserable and now he wants revenge. Anyway, what I've done is I'm going to walk in here, and this is the Stormcloak Rebellion area, and I'm showing you that because of the way I've started the game, he's not available. See, there's the arrow, you know, I want to say Ulfric, the guy who runs the place, not there. Anyway, there's the white Phial. That's what we're going to do next time, and that's the end.